Welcome back once again. This is Jaimini astrology channel. Here is the third part related to our Chara Dasha. In this part we'll focus on something extremely important when it comes to computing, calculating the Mahadasha years, in Jaimini astrology and particularly in Chara Dasha we distinguish two special signs, which are signs of Rishika and sign of Kumbha. Those two signs, Rashis, obviously, as you can see on the screen, they've got two co-rulers each, okay? The sign of Rishika has got Mangala and Ketu as its co-rulers, and the sign of Kumbha has got Shani and Rahu as co-owners, okay? And here, while calculating the Mahadasha years, we follow special rules. So what I would suggest is to prepare yourself a piece of paper and a pen and note it down, because I'm going to give you that particular rules which are apply when it comes to calculating the Mahadasha years for the signs of Rishika and Kumbha. Yeah, I'll give you the rules and I'll add a few of my remarks. Okay, so we'll start from the sign of Rishika. As you see, Rishika has got two co-rulers, Mangala and Ketu. Starting from the rule number 1. If Mangala is in Rishika and Ketu in other Rashi, count up to other Rashi where Ketu is placed, ignoring Mangala. That's what the first rule says. How we're going to conduct our counting. Obviously, in previous video, we explained that the sign of Rishika belongs to that Savya direct group. So our counting will be direct in a clockwise fashion. Okay? So we'll count up to Ketu and ignoring Mangala. Okay? Then we'll deduct 1 year and we'll receive the length of Mahadasha of Rishika. Okay? Coming to the second rule. If Ketu is in Rishika and Mangala in other Rashi, then ignore Ketu and count up to Mangala. That should be clear, okay? The third rule. If both are in Rishika, then give full 12 years without any deduction, okay? Then, the rule number 4 says, if both are in other Rashis than Rishika, then find out which of the two is obviously stronger. Okay, so here comes my remark. Okay, so let's imagine we've got Mangala found in the sign of Makara. Okay, and Ketu found in the sign of Mithuna. Then we need to establish which of these two co-owners, co-rulers, becomes stronger. Okay, how we do that? Okay, so we've got another rule which states that a planet associated with another planet is stronger than an unassociated one, meaning planet in conjunction with another planet is stronger than the one remaining on its own or alone in the Rashi. Okay, so in our example, let's imagine, as I've said, Mangala is found in the sign of Makara in conjunction with Chandra, let's say, okay? And we've found Ketu in the sign of Mithuna, but remaining there alone. So, which Graha will be stronger? Obviously, Mangala, because it is in association or conjunction with Chandra in the sign of Makara. So, we'll be counting here in a direct clockwise manner up to Mangala, deducting 1 year, and this way we'll receive our Mahadasha years for the sign of Rishika. That should be clear, okay? Next rule. If both are associated with one planet each, then the one with the higher degrees is considered stronger. So, let's add to the picture, okay? So we've got Mangala in conjunction with Chandra in the sign of Makara, as I've previously said, yeah? We've got Ketu in conjunction, let's say, with Buddha in the sign of Mithuna. So then we have to consider the degrees. The planet with the higher degrees will be considered stronger. So let's say Mangala is found at 3 degrees, at the 3rd degree of Makara, yeah? And Ketu is found at the 11 degrees of Mithuna. So obviously in that scenario Ketu becomes stronger because it's got a higher degree. So we'll be counting up to Ketu, deducting 1 year, and this will give us our Mahadasha years, okay? So, coming to the next rule. If Mangala and Ketu are alone in Rashis other than Rishika, then again, the one with higher degrees is stronger, okay? So, let's modify the picture. Mangala is in the sign of Makara at 27 degree, yeah? Ketu is in the sign of Mithuna at 12 degree. So, obviously, Mangala becomes stronger. Yes, I'll be counting up to Mangala, deducting 1 year, and we'll have the years for our Mahadasha of Rishika calculated this way. Okay? And the last rule says if both have the same degrees and minutes, then decide the strength on the basis of higher seconds if both are alone. Okay? So I think it is clear, okay? What I can add is that the rules are the same when it comes to both signs, Rishika and Kumbha, but I will go through those rules once again, yeah, in case of the sign of Kumbha, okay? So let's go through the rules, yeah, for the Kumbha Rashi, okay? So let's see. The rule number 1 says, if Shani is in Kumbha and Rahu in other Rashi, then count up to other Rashi when Rahu is placed, ignoring Shani. So, another remark, let's say, obviously, Shani is found in Kumbha, Rahu in Makara. So, we'll be counting up to Rahu, ignoring Shani. How we'll do that? In a previous video, we explained that sign of Kumbha belongs to that second group, indirect group, which we marked as Apsavya. So our counting will be indirect, or will proceed in anti-clockwise fashion. Yeah. So counting from Kumbha up to Makara, it will give us 2. Yeah, because Rahu is placed in Makara. We'll deduct 1, and we'll have 1 year as the length of Kumbha Mahadasha. Okay? So, the next, second rule. If Rahu is in Kumbha, on the other hand, and Shani in other Rashi, then ignore Rahu and count up to Shani. I'm reminding that we'll be counting in a anti-clockwise manner. Yeah? Because Kumbha belongs to that second group of Apsavya signs. Okay? The third rule. If both are in Kumbha, then give full 12 years without any deduction. Rule number 4. If both are in other Rashis than Kumbha, then find out which of the two is obviously stronger. Okay? So let's imagine. Okay? We've got our Shani placed in Simha, I would say. Okay? And we have found our Rahu in the sign of Danu. Okay? So we need to establish which one becomes stronger. So the next rule says that in order to clarify that, we need to consider a planet associated with another planet obviously, is stronger than unassociated one, meaning planet in conjunction with another. So let's say Shani remains on its own, alone, in the sign of Simha, yeah, and we have found Rahu, yeah, in the sign of Danu, in conjunction, let's say, with Shukra. So which one of the correlars becomes stronger? Obviously Rahu, so we'll count up to Rahu, yeah, in such situation. Okay? Next rule. If both are associated with one planet each, then the one with the higher degrees is stronger. Okay? So let's add to that picture. Okay? Shani remaining in Simha in conjunction with, let's say, Guru. Okay? Then Rahu in conjunction with Shukra in the sign of Danu. Let's say we found Shani at 19 degrees and Rahu at 17. Yeah? So which one is stronger? It's clear and obvious that in that particular situation Shani becomes stronger because it's got higher degrees. Okay, so we'll be counting up to Shani, deducting 1 year, and this way we'll receive our years for the Kumbha Mahadasha period. Okay? Okay, we're coming to another rule. If both are associated with one planet each, then the one with the higher degrees is stronger. Okay, we've done that. So the next one will be, if Shani and Rahu are alone in rashis other than Kumbha, then again the one with higher degrees is considered stronger. Okay, so continuing, Shani found in Simha, yeah, let's say 2 degrees, second degree of Simha. Rahu found in Danu at, I would say, 10 degrees. 10 degrees. So which one becomes stronger? Obviously Rahu, because it has got the higher degrees than Shani. So we'll be counting up to Rahu. I will remind how we'll be conducting our counting, obviously in indirect manner, anti-clockwise, yeah, because the sign of Kumbha belongs to that Apsarya, indirect group. Okay, that should be clear from the previous video. Okay, and the last rule finally says, if both Shani and Rahu are alone and have the same degrees and minutes, then decide their strength on the basis of higher seconds. Okay, that's, I would say, very clear. I'm going to finish that particular video, and in the last, fourth part, I'm going to take my own horoscope in order to demonstrate, to show you how to calculate Chara Dasha quickly on your own. So this way, we'll conclude, we'll finish that series, and you'll be able, to use Chara Dasha independently, as I've said, on your own, after conducting all the necessary calculations and following all the necessary rules which you cannot omit. Okay, so I'm going to finish right now. Take care. Goodbye.